Chapter 23. The Inner Contradictions of the State. A major problem with discussions of the necessity of government is the fact that all such discussions necessarily take place within a context of centuries of state existence and state rule to which the public has become habituated. The wry coupling of the twin certainties in the popular motto, "Death and Taxes," demonstrates that the public has resigned itself to the existence of the state as an evil but inescapable force of nature to which there is no alternative. The force of habit as the cement of state rule was seen as early as the 16th century writings of de la Boetie. But logically, and to cast off the scales of habit, we must not merely compare an existing state with an unknown quantity, but begin at the social zero point, in the logical fiction of the state of nature, and compare the relative arguments for the establishment of the state with those on behalf of a free society. Let us assume, for example, that a sizable number of people suddenly arrive on Earth, and that they must now consider what sort of social arrangements to live under. One person or group of persons argues as follows, that is, the typical argument for the state. If each of us is allowed to remain free in all aspects, and particularly if each of us is allowed to retain weapons and the right of self-defense, then we will all war against each other and society will be wrecked. Therefore, let us turn over all of our guns and all of our ultimate decision-making power and power to define and enforce our rights to the Jones family over there. The Jones family will guard us from our predatory instincts, keep social peace, and enforce justice. Is it conceivable that anyone, except perhaps the Jones family itself, would spend one moment considering this clearly absurd scheme? The cry of, "Who would guard us from the Jones family, especially when we are deprived of our weapons?" would suffice to shout down such a scheme. And yet, given the acquisition of legitimacy from the fact of longevity, given the long-time rule of the Jones family, this is precisely the type of argument to which we now blindly adhere. Employing the logical model of the state of nature aids us in casting off the fetters of habit to see the state plain, and to see that the emperor indeed wears no clothes.